Coming up on UMTV News, a deadly mass shooting in Maine leaves 18 people dead and more than a dozen hurt. Hear the reaction from one of the survivors.
Plus, Israel expands its ground invasion to Gaza. We have updates from the war that started almost a month ago.
And the Canes clinch a trip to a bowl game this season. We'll take you through this wild overtime thriller later on. All that and more, UMTV News starts right now. Hello and welcome to UMTV News. I'm Morgan Champy.
And I'm Ethan Gainey. Thank you for joining us.
In the state of Maine, the Lewiston community is starting to heal after last week's mass shooting.
18 people were killed and 13 were hurt when a gunman opened fire at a bowling alley and bar. Alan Nickerson Jr. was one of the people shot. He's now recovering physically, but emotionally, that will take longer.
Pop, pop, pop. That's when reaction hit. Everybody went everywhere. I just went to the ground.
With bullets flying, Alan Nickerson Jr. tried crawling for cover.
And I turned back, and I see him, the gun's at me. He fires twice. One hit me.
The gunman kept firing. Nickerson felt like it would never stop.
I would have told you he was in there 15 minutes. And apparently, I learned he was in there 30 seconds. Never been so scared in my life. And then out the door he went.
He says that's when people started yelling for help. Alan called out to his best friend, Joe Walker.
I'm hollering for Joe, because now I can hear people's voices. Okay, Richard's alive. I hear another voice. Larry's alive. I hear another, I'm trying to pinpoint people, and I yell. Joe don't answer. When I didn't hear his name yelling back at me, I knew then.
He sent a text to his longtime girlfriend before two police officers carried him to a patrol car and rushed him to the hospital.
And I texted her that I'm shot, going to hospital.
Well, I thought it was a joke, and then he said, I'm going to the hospital. That was it. And I'm like, what the heck? And I tried calling him back, and there was no answer.
Tammy Adams found out from her niece what had happened. With the hospital in lockdown and no sign of the shooter, she learned hours later Nickerson was going to be all right. He says the exploding bullet that hit him tore a cluster of nerves in his groin, leaving no feeling in his thigh muscles.
They're saying that should come back when it all heals back together, but there's no guarantee.
As for the loss of his friend, that wound will take even longer to heal. Joe had taken Alan skydiving for his birthday.
Keep an eye on us.
We went skydiving together.
Their friendship, he says, brought out the best in each of them.
Joe became more and more social, more and more compassionate. When the Dart community would lose a member, Joe was right there to start fundraising. This is what Joe did. God, I'm going to miss him so much.
3 of the victims of the Lewiston mass shooting are still in critical condition.
Anti-Semitic and anti-Muslim hate is on the rise in the U.S., and with it, FBI Director Christopher Wray issued a stark warning, telling the nation the war in the Middle East could inspire extremists in the U.S. to carry out more attacks against Americans. Since the war between Hamas and Israel began, there's been a string of anti-Semitic threats, vandalism, and outbursts. At Cornell University, one person is in custody after online posts encouraged people to kill Jews and attack a dining hall for Jewish students.
We said never again. It means never again, and we see it happening again.
The country's largest Muslim civil rights group, CARE, also reports a threefold increase in complaints about anti-Muslim violence. With vandalism and violent rhetoric raising alarms from law enforcement, the nation remains on edge.
Fans of Matthew Perry and the show Friends are mourning the actor's sudden death on Saturday. Fans left flowers, handwritten notes, and other heartfelt objects in memory of Perry and his beloved character Chandler Bing in front of the apartment building in New York City featured on the sitcom. The apartment building is located on the west side of Manhattan, but the show itself was filmed in Hollywood. Perry died from an apparent drowning in his hot tub. The medical examiner's office says they are waiting on the toxicology report to determine the exact cause of death. Matthew Perry was 54 years old. Artificial intelligence is something that we're seeing everywhere nowadays.
Software is getting smarter every day, but should humans be able to take credit for that work? Reporter Ainsley Vetter joins us live to tell us about the impact of artificial intelligence on the art world. So Ainsley, how are these artists reacting to these advancements in technology?
Debate has struck the canvas in the art world over the use of artificial intelligence in creative works. It's left artists disagreeing over whether the software is a helpful tool or if it's the demise of creativity. Fabiola Larios and her husband, Moises Sanabria, are artists at the Bakehouse Art Complex in Miami Beach. They focus a lot of their work on the internet and technology. They create various types of art, including digital work like NFTs and physical art like sculptures and paintings. For them, art can take on various forms, so they've been embracing artificial intelligence as a tool.
Like you can be an artist like in other ways and make different type of art, and it's okay. It shouldn't be like, oh, if you don't do this, then you can't be an artist or you're not making art.
AI programs allow artists to combine their ideas and prompts with the technological capabilities of the internet to create a product. There are various forms of AI that artists can use. They might use ChatGPT to get a little inspiration for a project, or they might use something like DALL-E to create an actual image. Today, I'm going to be using Canva to show you how to create an image yourself. I'm going to be typing in cat riding a bicycle. Then I'm going to hit create your image, and there you have it.
It's not human, but it knows enough to guide you through something where you otherwise would have been kind of alone.
Larios used AI to create her website and uses it for sketching, but she says she doesn't think she would use a raw AI output alone as art.
AI art is a tool that I use, but like my subjects and my themes are like the same inside the internet and outside the internet.
But other artists disagree. Adam Jarvis, a digital visual artist and creative director based in Toronto, says those who make art using AI are AI art directors, not artists.
You can't just emotionally say, I feel like an artist. There is a lot of time and effort and sacrifice, pain and disappointment, all those wonderful things that go into earning the title of artist.
University of Miami painting professor Amy Shizzle says she sees a lot of students already using it. She says she began researching AI for the purposes of teaching it.
I think it's inevitable that students are going to be using it, especially ChatGPT. I think the key is to teach students how to use it, but how to cite it properly and in what circumstances to use it.
Regardless of your standpoint, AI is making its way into all aspects of life. For art, the future remains a blank canvas. Some University of Miami professors may be embracing artificial intelligence, but it's not that way at every school or with every teacher. New York City public schools have banned students and teachers from using the popular ChatGPT in their studies. But artificial intelligence is making its way more and more onto the scene, so eventually we may not be able to tell the difference between the real and the imaginary. Reporting live for UMTV, I'm Ainsley Vetter.
Thank you, Ainsley. We'll take a short break now, but still to come on UMTV News. Stick around to hear how one mother honors a daughter she lost to childhood cancer. Plus, we'll take you inside the Shalala Student Center's ballrooms to check out one of Homecoming Week's hottest events. We'll be right back.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
The trend of crazy games at Hard Rock Stadium continued Saturday when the Miami Hurricanes beat the Virginia Cavaliers 29-26 in overtime. A second straight overtime escape gave the Canes their 6th win of the year. Miami faced a 10-0 deficit in the second quarter, and quarterback Tyler Van Dyke struggled with 2 interceptions. But 3 field goals from Andy Borregales and 20 second-half points for the Canes took the game into overtime, where running back Mark Pleasure Jr. powered his way into the end zone for the game-winning score. Van Dyke contributed the Canes' success to Borregales and the defense postgame.
But at the end of the day, my teammates got me. Defense did a great job, giving the offense a chance to win the game. And thank God for Andy Borregales, because without him, I think we would have lost the game. So made 3 clutch kicks and did a great job.
Miami is back in action this Saturday in Raleigh, North Carolina as the Canes take on the NC State Wolfpack. Kickoff is scheduled for 8 o'clock p.m.
Cancer takes the lives of tens of thousands of children every year. And while nothing will ever make up for the lost lives, one organization is fighting to tackle pediatric cancer and help make life as good as possible for those impacted by the disease. Patrick McCall attended one event over the weekend and joins us live to tell us more about this team taking on the challenge of cancer. Patrick?
Ethan, the name of that organization is Sophias Hope. Its founder hopes to bring people together who've had their hearts ripped away by an unfortunate disease. A light breeze and a strong sun lit up the Miami area on Saturday morning, a nice touch for a gathering of broken hearts.
I started Sophias Hope almost 11 years ago. It all came about because my daughter Sophia was 4 when she was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. About a month after her 13th birthday, she passed away from heart failure.
Marta Blanco is the founder of Sophias Hope, and her organization hosted the annual Reason to Run 5K.
Third place. I'm guessing he's not here, but maybe Joaquin Cuadra.
The run brings in supporters of Sophias Hope, other cancer organizations, and hundreds of athletic runners. The event is only one of the many that Sophias Hope runs.
Providing programs for patients and families now for, I guess, 11 years, ranging from art programs to distributing what we call newly diagnosed family kits. We do field trips to the zoo. We do horse camp. Because
finishing first isn't the top goal for most who make it out to the track.
It's really nice to run always for a good cause, and especially when you do it with your kids. So we're staying healthy and we're doing it for a good cause.
When the runners are done, they walk down the path behind me where it opens up to beautiful scenery and a great gathering. After a tough workout, runners are showered with options to help cancer patients. Families and friends have social hour.
We got a winner.
The DJ booth sounds off raffle winners.
657.
And the morning ends a success.
the best moments for me are when I see a family and a survivor, you know, that come, and some of them have made it a routine. And so when they come up to registration and you see them growing and you see them thriving, it's beautiful. And
Sophias Hope also organizes other events for families and children with cancer. Some of these events include horseback riding and trips to the zoo. You can find out information about these events and more at sophiashope.org. Reporting live for UMTV, I'm Patrick McCall.
Thank you, Patrick. Last week was homecoming here at the University of Miami, and campus was filled with spirited events, including the annual organized cheer competition. O-Cheer is an event where student organizations show off their dance moves and spirited routines. Following this year's theme, Leave Your Legacy, each performance was centered around celebrating the history of these organizations and keeping their culture alive for years to come. Initially an outdoor event, the competition had to be moved to the Shalala Ballroom due to bad weather. But that didn't stop anyone from giving their all for a chance at victory.
You know, you see people that you know from class or you know from school walking around that are always so serious, and then you see them on stage playing a character that's, you know, and they're putting themselves out there and making the biggest fool of themselves for the sake of winning it or for the sake of bringing that spirit to their orgs.
The winner of this year's event was the Sea Force, a team made up of the Caribbean Students Association, the Jamaican Students Association, and the Hurricane Stepper Step Team.
Finally tonight, it's Halloween, and an estimated 60,000 Halloween revelers packed Duval Street in Key West over the weekend.
They were decked out in their best costumes for the Fantasy Fest parade. This year's theme was uniforms and unicorns. The parade included marching groups, spiffed up floats, and lots of dancing. The 10-day Fantasy Fest began in 1979, aiming to boost Key West's struggling tourism economy. This event brings in some $30 million for the Keys each year.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. Thank you so much for watching.
Join us next week at 4:30 for another edition of UMTV News. Have a good night.